dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Thinking about buying a new home computer? So are a lot of people these days. Did you know by the year 2000 there'll be as many computers as people? Think about it. You can bet if using computers isn't already a big part of your everyday life, there will surely be soon. Leading the way in new computer sales in the years ahead will surprisingly be not businesses, but new home PC users like you and I. Hello, my name is Hugh Baver.
And I'm Sandy Buchanan. We're from NECB Data Systems, your business computing partner with the Tyco Employee Computer Purchase Program. The purpose of this video is to help guide you through the process of selecting a new home computer.
That's right. And as excuse me one second, we're taping here.
Yeah,
Can I help you?
Am I interrupting anything?
Well, as a matter of fact, you are, but that's all right.
Okay.
Can we help you?
Yeah, my name is Larry Hansberry. I'm one of the Tyco employees.
Oh, yes.
And,
Hi, Larry. Nice to meet you.
I'm interested in finding some information out about the Tyco employee program for buying a new computer.
Absolutely. Why don't you pull a chair up and come on in here close, and we hopefully be able to answer all the questions that you might have.
Can you explain to me
nice
how
to
the
meet
program
you.
works and how I can get involved in it?
Certainly. I guess there's some basic things you should know. You have to be a Tyco employee, one of the Tyco subsidiary companies, for 6 months or longer. You may choose one computer package, which would include a computer, a monitor, a printer, all these things we'll get into. 90% of your purchase will be financed interest-free for up to 18 months, and you need to come up with a 10% down payment and fill out a couple of basic forms, a promissory note, a loan agreement, takes you a couple minutes, and also a PC fax order form, which I happen to have here. Perhaps I can hand that to you now.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll review some of the terms that are on this form as we move along, and I'm sure we can help you out.
Okay. A lot of my friends and associates are buying home computers now, and I was just wondering, why would I need a home computer, and what would I do with it?
Well, Larry, computers, or personal computers, which are also known as PCs, are designed to make your life easier, and there's literally thousands of things you could do with a home computer. It's a tool which enables you to do things that you already do on paper just more easily and efficiently. Things that I like to do with my home computer is balance my checkbook and keep track of my finances. And I also take college classes at night, and my home computer allows me to do my papers at home and research using the Encarta Encyclopedia.
Yeah, and myself, speaking for myself, one thing that I've used it for is I've learned how to type. There's a specific typing program that's out that, unfortunately, in high school I didn't get into typing or college as I should, and it's a basic that you need to know before you start using a computer. It sure helps. There's a typing program out that has helped me tremendously, so I learned how to type on my computer. I also have a difficult time with a busy family life trying to keep track of different events that we have going on, whether it be anniversaries, birthdays, special events. Using the calendar feature that I have in the software package, I can look ahead, plan ahead using a real good calendar. And I have a brother-in-law who actually incidentally uses his personal computer at home to keep up on the stock market. He kind of has an interest in the stock market. He can actually obtain stock reports through his PC and monitor that on an ongoing basis. So this is only just a few, I think we've only touched on a very few things that you can do with a home computer. Perhaps you can think of some things now that you can do.
Yeah, I'm a employee, and I'm a warehouse foreman, and I like to do poetry. My kids, I've got one in high school and I've got one in college, and my wife is a secretary of an organization, and we're both members of a couple other organizations, so maybe we could use it for that too. That would help a lot. One of the things I've heard a lot about the IBM PC and the Apple, the Macintosh, whatever. What is the difference between those two?
Well, you really have those two basic types of computers, and I guess to understand a little bit of the background, we should start with that. Going back about 10 or 15 years ago, when the origins of PCs, personal computers, first came out, you had two very large companies, Apple Macintosh, which incidentally still remains one of the largest computer companies in the world, and IBM, International Business Machines. The two of them at the time focused their efforts on a particular market. International Business Machines, IBM, focused on the business world, and Apple Macintosh focused primarily on the educational world. And it has kind of evolved from that point. You do have some crossover today between Apple and Macintosh as far as the business and educational side, but that's really a good background as to how that all started.
Well, which one do you think would be best for me?
Well, Larry, Apple Macintosh you generally find in graphic design firms, educational settings, or design agencies, graphic design agencies. The Apple Macintosh computers are very user-friendly, but their software is somewhat limited.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But they do make up a small percentage of the overall market.
Exactly. In fact, making up the largest percentage of the overall market is, again, what is referred to as IBM PC compatibles. Now, that does not necessarily mean that it's a genuine IBM. Toshiba, NEC, Compaq, those are also major companies which make up that larger group of, quote, IBM PC compatibles. Again, generally speaking, you have a wider range of software opportunities as far as on the business front, the educational front, or the recreational side of things. And in the most part, about 90% of the business world, you will find IBM PC compatibles.
Well, then it sounds like I should go with the IBM PC.
Uh,
My best bet.
I guess based on what you're saying, I guess to give a clear statement, if you had children who were in school and specifically used Apple Macintosh computers, and you were buying this computer specifically for them, I would say you definitely should go and buy an Apple Macintosh computer. But based on your varied needs, what you're telling me, and the fact that you want to be doing a number of different things, probably the IBM PC compatible would be a best call for you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go with that. I see a couple different PCs back here. What are the differences between these?
Okay, Larry, well, you asked about what was behind me here, and actually I have quite a variety. I wanted to show you there are two distinct categories of computers. The first is desktop, and the desktop category is broken actually into two different types. This one over here is called a true desktop computer. It actually sits on your desk. You put your monitor or your screen on top of it. And then if you move over to this one here, this is also a desktop computer, but it's called a mini tower because it's in a mini tower case. You can see it kind of stands up on its side. It's a little bit stouter. It also has more expansion capabilities, which we'll get into later. But this also has the opportunity to put this down under your table. Gives you the advantage of working within certain space limitations to accommodate your need. The third type is a portable notebook, and that's kind of a general term for a whole category of computers. This happens to be a notebook computer. It is portable. It weighs 6 or 7 pounds. Some of them these days weigh as little as 4 or 5 pounds. And they can run on their own power. They don't need to have a power source, which is an advantage to you because you can take it out on a plane if you're flying from here across country and you want to do some work. You don't have a power source. Notebook computer is great. You just turn it on and get to work with it right here. Everything is self-contained with a battery. The notebook computer also, you should note, is something that, if I had to give one downside to it, is that there generally is a little bit higher rate of servicing on notebook computers just because of the portable nature of it. You tend to knock it around and knock into things. It's not quite the situation that you have where it's stationary, sitting on your desk, and you're not moving it. So both are great choices. It basically depends on what you intend to use it for.
So what do you think, knowing what I do, what do you think would be best for me, a portable or a desktop?
Well, again, based on the varied needs that you stated, I think it would be best for you to probably go with the desktop computer. And in fact, I'd say the mini tower. I can really tell you're going to be a tiger and get into this, and you're going to want to have expansion capabilities, which again, I'll explain as we go along. I think the mini tower desktop would be the best situation. You're not going to be traveling a lot from what you tell me. Even though a notebook computer has the same capabilities as a desktop, I think that the mini tower multimedia computer here would be best for you.
Well, that sounds good. I'll go with that. I've got a lot of questions to ask you, but first of all, what is the difference between hardware and software? I hear those terms used a lot.
That's a good question, but one thing I do want to do is direct you on your order form here to actually go ahead and make a selection that, in fact, you do want to go with. Well, actually, let's just quickly review the order form again. You can see that you have a number of different models, and just to point out to you here that here it shows a mini tower case, and that's important to note.
Okay.
So here again, looking at your computer choices, one of these three that we have here would be a mini tower computer. So we'll get back to making your actual selection of which one of those three in a moment. But anyway, I'm sorry, you had asked.
Okay, the difference between hardware and software. I hear that all the time, and I just don't know which is which.
Well, Larry, computer hardware is something that you can actually touch and feel. It would be part of your system, like Hugh is showing. The keyboard, the mouse, the monitor, anything that you can touch and
It's
feel.
hard. See, it's hard.
Okay.
The software are actually programs that you work with. What you see on the monitor and use.
This is a software
Oh,
program
it's-
right now running. This solitaire game is a software program running.
So the word processor itself then would be software.
Yes, Larry, in answer to your question again, a word processor is an example of a software package. So is a game, so is a spreadsheet package, etc. There's a number of different things that are considered software. So in answer to your question, yes.
Okay, good. There's a lot of terms that people use with computers and all that, and I have trouble keeping track of all these terms and all the different internal components they call it. So, for instance, what is a motherboard?
Well, Larry, a motherboard is a good place to start, as a matter of fact, and I happen to have one with me here to show you. And if we could focus in on it and we take a better look at it, a motherboard is basically the main board in a system. It's where all of the other adapters and internal hardware, we talk about internal hardware, plug into this board. And it is something that comprises a number of different things. We'll also get into here the microprocessor, the processor, overdrive socket. There's a number of things on the motherboard which are very central to a computer operating properly.
Ah, good. Microprocessor. Okay. What is the processor?
Okay, I guess that's a good place to stop me. If you can focus in right over here, this is the Intel. You see the word Intel. Intel is the major chip maker. And you also will see in here 486 SX happens to be the particular speed of this chip. The microprocessor is also referred to as the CPU, or central processing unit. It basically is the brains of the system, and it controls the entire computer. On the motherboard, you may also notice that there's these small, minute little conduits here, which are in intricate levels of circuitry, which basically have electrical impulses run between each one of these chips, or each part of the motherboard. Motherboard, again, is made of fiberglass and plastic, or excuse me, fiberglass and copper. And yeah, so here's the processor right here.
Well, when they talk about the processor, I hear them say so many megahertz or whatever, 486, 33 megahertz or something like that. What's a megahertz?
I guess it's important to first break that term down into two separate words. Megahertz is mega. Mega means millions, and hertz refers to the computations per second. And so millions of computations per second. So there's a tremendous amount of activity taking place on the motherboard here, centering around this main processor, or excuse me, this CPU, the chip, the brains of the system. And to give you a little gauge of the speed difference between a 486 and a 586, a lot of people will say, well, geez, what is best for me, a 486 or a Pentium? Pentium refers to a 586 computer. Basically it is totally related to a measure of speed. So depending upon where you want to go with your computer system, or what your base level of expertise is with it, probably would determine which is best for you. It sounds to me like, again, you really want to get into this and do a lot with your computer, including multimedia and a number of different software programs. I'd probably tell you that the Intel 586 or Pentium chip would probably be best for you. You may not be up to it right now. You will grow into it.
Oh, I see.
So again, strictly a speed differential. Basically, the higher the number on the megahertz, the faster and newer that chip is.
Okay.
That's a good guideline, rule of thumb to go by.
Good, good. I see on the order form here you have the term overdrive socket. What is an overdrive socket?
Okay, well, if we can focus in here a little closer, again, here's the central processing unit. Down just below it, this is the overdrive socket, and essentially it enables you to have expansion capabilities and upgradability that this particular chip runs at 33 megahertz, for instance. Simply by taking another chip similar to this and sticking it into this socket, that will override this original processor and process at the faster speed. So having the overdrive socket gives you a measure of investment protection, that you can go to a faster speed as your needs and as your expertise with the computer takes off. So it enables you to, again, go to a faster speed by inserting a chip into that overdrive socket right there.
Now, I hear a lot about hard drive. Is that something on here, or is that something else?
Actually, it is not. I'm going to set this down, the motherboard down here for a moment, and I'm going to pick up a hard drive. And here, as a matter of fact, I have a hard drive right here. If we could focus in on that. For the purposes of this explanation, we took the cover off of the hard drive. Now, you should never do that, incidentally, because number one, it would invalidate the warranty on your system, and number two, it would cause this hard drive to malfunction because it's really hermetically sealed in a very carefully sealed, controlled environment inside. Basically, you can see that it's a disc or a platter that spins around, similar to a record or a tape. And then you have here a head which basically floats over this platter on a cushion of air. And a hard drive, the best way to look at a hard drive is it's a filing cabinet. It's where you could actually store information or retrieve information from.
So all my information goes on that little disk?
All information goes onto this little hard drive, and the capacity of a hard drive is measured in megabytes.
No, there's mega again. Okay.
All right, good.
Now, megahertz was millions of cycles per second or something you said. Okay.
Right.
So megabytes, well, what is a byte?
Well, that's a good question to ask. I'm glad you remember that mega means millions because it is half of that word. Megabyte, a byte is simply one character. So if you take a look at any of these, a piece of typed paper, any numeric, a numeral or a letter, or even a non-printing character or a space is considered a character or a byte.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing how many of these bytes you can get onto a sheet of paper.
Get up to 4,000, approximately 4,000 onto one sheet of paper.
4,000 on one sheet of paper?
Yeah, there's about 4,000 bytes if you entirely type this page, solid typing throughout the entire page.
Well, how many megabytes or whatever would a hard disk hold, for instance?
They can hold anywhere. The sky's the limit. It's really amazing how far up they can actually go as far as for your needs, which you probably would do best getting. I would say that even if you are you're a beginner, you've never used a computer before, you know nothing about them, I would get nothing less than a 250 megabyte hard drive. Again, after you're very starting out, just starting out.
So 250 megabyte would be 250 million characters.
That's correct.
Oh, wow.
Which is a tremendous amount of information. Again, based on your needs, and if you look at some of the systems that we offer in the program, you have a 540 megabyte, 850, it even goes up higher than that. I would think to be safe, probably an 850 megabyte hard drive or thereabouts would be a good starting point for you. I mean, it's just going to give you a little time for you to be able to fill that up, and you're not going to run out of hard drive capacity, I think, anytime soon with an 850 megabyte. I hope you do, which means that you're really a go-getter. And
well, I've heard people tell me get a lot of megabytes because of graphics and all that uses up a lot. So I guess that would be better to get a large one, wouldn't it?
Generally speaking, the more user-friendly a program is, and we'll talk about that too, the more user-friendly a software program is, the more megabytes of disk space are taken up. So,
you just opened another door. Okay, when you say megabytes, that's kind of, I'm hearing buy so many megabytes of RAM. People are saying get a lot of RAM. What is RAM?
Oh, RAM is another very important component of your system. As a matter of fact, I have here what's basically a RAM chip. RAM stands for RAM, Random Access Memory, or it's referred to as computer memory.
So that's the memory.
And if you can stay focused here for a moment, I can show you that, again, plugging into the motherboard, the RAM would simply be inserted into one of these sockets. This is a 4 megabyte RAM. And I would incidentally not buy any computer these days that has anything less than 4 megabytes of RAM. You absolutely, at a bare minimum, need to have 4 megabytes of RAM to run any Windows-based applications. But again, the best analogy I can make for RAM is look at it like it's the space on your desktop. Imagine doing a project where you had to do it first on a small cafeteria tray versus doing that same project on a large executive-sized desk. You have a lot more space on the executive-sized desk where you could actually put paperwork out, prioritize your tasks, and invariably work more efficiently and faster.
So the more RAM, the bigger the desk.
More RAM, bigger the desk, good way to look at it,
Huh.
and the more you can do with it. The faster, it also relates to performance, so it also would aid in the performance factor along with the microprocessor we talked about. So again, a RAM chip.
Well, if I can put a lot of these programs on my desk at once, like, can I run more than one program at a time, or I mean?
Sure, that's no problem. It's called, you can do multitasking. And for example, you can print something while you're working on another document.
So I don't have to sit there and wait for it to finish printing before I do something. Oh, fantastic.
If you're going to find yourself doing multitasking a lot, you might consider more RAM. Because from what I understand, it does take up more
Yeah, absolutely. In
Yeah.
fact, some of the systems now that we offer standard in the program have 8 megabytes of RAM standard. And I think that's the first thing that would be called into question that you probably would need as you grow with your computer. So
So start out with 8 and then go from there if I need to.
again, based on what I'm hearing from you, I'd start out with 8 megabytes, right?
Okay.
You always have the expansion capabilities on both the hard drive size and the RAM size, incidentally, that as your needs grow, you can just simply add in another chip, add in another megabyte of RAM chip to go from 8, 12, 16, however much you need, or also you can add another hard. If you invariably max out on the capacity of that 850 megabyte hard drive we spoke about, no need to worry. You also can buy another hard drive and simply insert it and have more space.
Well, when I walked in, you were running some video thing there. I've heard this video graphics accelerator or something like that. What is that?
Video graphics accelerator is really what it is it generates the output required to display text and graphics on a monitor or on a display. Accelerator infers obviously fast, accelerating, and this accelerator, which is a small piece of hardware that is again located on your motherboard, is the medium between the time you press those keys and what you see on the screen. So it accelerates the process of enhancing the video and showing the video of what you see.
Okay.
And most of the systems incidentally come with 1 megabyte of video RAM as standard, and once again you can upgrade that to 2 megabytes of video RAM. For most of the games, or in fact, all of the software that comes with any of these basic packages, the 1 megabyte of video RAM is fine, is more than enough. But you should know you do have an upgrade path available on the video RAM, or the video graphics accelerator, and that would be something you might use if you were doing something more specific and exacting, more video intensive, like CAD or computer-aided design, where you actually were regenerating drawings, architectural drawings or renderings or very heavy graphics.
Yeah, I've got a friend that uses AutoCAD, I think he calls it. That's what he said. It's computer-aided design.
Precisely. That's something that would help you there.
Well, I've been kind of looking at the sheet here because that's what I'm having to figure out. And it looks like, from what you're telling me and what I'd probably be using it for, and my wife and kids, that it looks like this NEC Ready 7020 bundle, the P75 Pentium. That looks like I think that's what I ought to get. It looks like just exactly what we're talking about. 850 megabyte hard drive, and you said 8 meg of RAM.
8 megs of RAM standard. Yep.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that.
I think it's a good choice. I think it's a system that you will be able to grow into, even though I think today some people are, in some senses, buying above their need. The way that the computer technology is accelerating at this point, you need to have something which you can grow into and grow with over the years. So that's a very good choice. Why don't you pencil that in right there?
Okay, yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Okay, the NEC Ready 7020 P75. Okay. A lot of my friends, they talk about, I definitely want to get a fax modem. This fax modem stuff seems to be the big thing right now. What is a modem, and how does that work?
Well, Larry, a modem, the word modem, it comes from 2 different words, modulate and demodulate. What a modem actually is, it enables you to communicate over the phone lines information. The term modulate is the process of bytes of information translated into pitch sounds and communicating over those phone lines, coming out at the other end, which is demodulate, and then changing back from pitch sounds to bytes of information. And regardless of your computing expertise, you would want one to help access online bulletin services such as CompuServe, America Online, and Prodigy.
Yeah, people have spoken of those.
Yes, they're very popular.
One of the things that I use a modem for, Larry, is in communicating through the Employee Computer Purchase Program. All of the computer purchase coordinators out there, through my fax modem, I have one particular document that say I want to uniformly disseminate to everybody, all of the computer purchase coordinator, through my fax modem. I can devise it in my word processor and then fax it out over the phone lines. Again, the modem is a piece of hardware that helps enable me the ability to send communication over the phone lines, and it does. It works very effectively.
So I can send faxes with this device, and I can also communicate with the online services with the same device.
Right.
That's
Good,
right.
Good.
The American Online, CompuServe, and Prodigy are three of the most popular online bulletin board service that are out there. In fact, all three of those programs are included in the NEC Ready systems that come in the program, and basically connects you to a world of information. I mean, all different types of organizations, clubs, groups, well, again, whatever your interest may be. A modem is your connection to the outside world.
That's that information highway I'm reading about.
Yeah,
in the paper
information
and everything.
superhighway. You can
Right.
send information out and consequently get information back.
Okay. Now, can I use a modem with the notebook if I have a notebook?
Sure. In fact, I can show you here
Oh, okay.
exactly how one hooks up to a notebook. In the notebook, the modem is a little different. It actually is a card, just
yeah.
like this. And that modem is just hooked up.
Boy, not much bigger than a business card, is it?
Exactly.
Wow.
And you just connect it in by pushing it in. And it works the same as a desktop modem, desktop computer modem.
So the other end of this just plugs into a phone jack.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
In fact, if you take a
Yes.
look at the end of that, that is precisely the connection that you would see if you plugged your telephone in.
How about that?
Yep.
Beautiful. So the other modem that's in a regular computer also plugs into a phone jack, too.
It does.
Right.
Oh, good.
And it's something that modems are so important these days that every system, for the most part, you should definitely get a modem regardless. And all the systems that, again, that are offered in the program, we make it a point to make sure there's a modem in there. So it's something you will really enjoy using once you get into it.
Some things I like to do with my modem at home is, I was telling you before how I balance my checkbook and take care of my finances, and I like to pay my bills using the modem.
You pay your bills through the modem? Oh, neat.
And she likes it.
Yeah. All right.
And I have just recently taken a vacation, and I booked all my travel affairs through modem.
Your flights and everything?
My flights, yep.
Making plane
I didn't
reservations and all
know
that through the modem. All right. When you're talking about some of the modems and things like this, I see a lot of things on the outside of the computer here in the front of it. Can you tell me what some of these things are?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, maybe we could focus
Okay.
back just behind us again, and we'll take a look at the outside of this mini tower computer, the one that you had selected before. Might as well work with that one. Yeah, what is it that you'd like to have explained?
Okay, people are always saying, floppy disk. Be sure and have lots of floppy disks, and you put things on floppy disk. But where's the floppy disk?
Okay, well, I guess we should first start with a floppy disk drive, and that is this hardware device right here, this small little rectangular square. You can see that it has a door that opens up. A floppy disk drive is the hardware device which reads and stores data to the diskette. And if we're talking about a diskette, I'm going to show you here are two different types of diskettes. To understand the origins of the word floppy drive, it comes from the fact that floppy disks, this is two different types of floppy disks which actually hold data that are available on the market. The older model, this is a 5 1/4 inch, and you can see how it's floppy. That's how they get the word floppy disk.
Oh, yeah.
This one really is now considered outdated technology. The media doesn't hold as much information. It's more susceptible to damaging of the information. Now the 3.5 inch floppy disk is generally considered to be the standard of floppy disk. And you can see all you'd simply do is you set it, you stick it right in like that. And now, again, that floppy disk drive can have information that you can pull off of your computer, or you can take and insert the floppy disk drive and give information to this computer. And simply by depressing that little button, you can pull the floppy diskette right out of that floppy disk drive.
So I can put programs on there, or I can put letters or memos or something I'm working on in the office, and I can take it on, put it on that disk, and then take it out and take it home.
Exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, how much data can you store on one of those things?
That's a good question.
You can store 1.44 million megabytes, million
Wow.
bytes.
That's a lot of pages. You're saying 4,000 characters on a page, and I can store 1.44 million? Wow, that's a lot of pages.
It is. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one particular program. It could be a combination of different programs that add up to that total capacity. A lot of people think they just have to have one file on it. You could put a number of different files, a number of different letters or correspondence, or a spreadsheet and a word processing correspondence. A tremendous amount of capacity on one of those small diskettes.
Wow, I'm impressed. I also heard about multimedia. A lot of people talking about the multimedia. What is multimedia?
Well, that is a great term to understand because it really adds a whole other dimension to computing. And this is something recently in the past, I'd say year and a half or so, that now a CD-ROM, which I'll refer to right here, this is a CD-ROM player here, is really the main component of quote, multimedia. Multimedia enables you to see moving pictures, sounds through your computer other than just the standard blips and bleeps that a system previously used to just be able to do. And I'll show you now exactly what that means. In fact, I happen to have in here a CD disc now. In fact, what I'll show you is I can show you how it simply goes on. This is a CD disc. In fact, you might be familiar with this.
That looks like one of my CDs I have in my CD player, in my stereo.
Yeah, it's very similar to it. It's exactly like it. This one particular CD happens to hold information, an entire encyclopedia set, 26 volume encyclopedia set on one CD disc.
Wow.
But yeah, CD-ROM means compact disc read-only memory. So you should remember it reads only. So consequently, this CD player will read the information which is stored on a CD disc and input it into the computer. So here, this is an example of multimedia. In fact, we showed some at the beginning of the video.
Yeah,
and
that was the one when I came in.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll do it one more time. Here, you can take a look at that cheetah.
Well, that's with pictures and everything. Can I, if I have a CD-ROM that's got music on it, can I just put one of those in?
You can. You can do that as well. In fact, I'll show you that. You can actually work with your computer and have your CD playing your favorite tunes, and I'll see if I can't cue that up for you right now.
So I can listen to Neil Diamond while I'm working on my word processor?
Yeah, once again, it's as simple as this. So you depress that, and we pull.
Oh,
There's
this is wild. I love it.
Bring this one CD disc off. I hope you like Billy Joel. That's all that I happen to have here. But
oh, yeah.
I put that in there, and I will press play, and let's listen. How do you like that? It sounds pretty good. The speakers that come with these systems are outstanding. And you also can adjust the volume control with the adjuster or the mixer, which is right on the screen here.
Yeah, it's like my whole stereo system right there in the screen. Beautiful.
So, well, as much as I love the music, we'll turn it down just a little bit here. And you can see...
You can use the screen or the volume control on the speaker.
Right. You can adjust the volume of your CD and, again, work with another program and have music playing and adjust the volume. And we'll turn this down a little bit, have a little bit of background music.
Okay, great.
Those are really great speakers, geez.
So I can be using my word processor and listening to my favorite CD in the background.
Exactly.
Fabulous.
Exactly.
All right.
What we'll do now is we'll sit here and we'll stop. And one thing I want to point out to you quickly here is that it's very important that you're extremely careful about taking your CD out. And that's why you put your two fingers on the side like this. And the whole idea is to not touch the bottom. You don't want to touch the bottom with your fingerprints. So you take that and you very carefully set it into its case. And consequently, you take it out that same way. So you want to be real careful to handle it on the side, similar to a photograph. And there you go. We set that right back in there. So there's a CD player. There's little multimedia action we talked about. As long as we're focusing over here too, I want to point out to you that this is simply how you turn a machine off and on, turn your PC off and on. A lot of people are a little afraid to delve into it, and it's really as simple as just depressing this button here in the upper right-hand corner. You turn it on and turn it off, press it in and press it out. Also, you might notice here too, these are what are called expansion bays. And what this is these are basically little plastic plates which are covering up holes here where you can actually slide other devices in. We talked about expandability earlier. You also can expand your PC in the sense of adding other peripheral devices or other hardware, other computer hardware you can add to your system. And again, you pull off one of these plastic plates. You could slide something into this, such as a tape backup player. Now, briefly, a tape backup will enable you to back up all of your files. So if you ever had an unlikely instance of a disk crash, something like that, you'd be able to have all your everything backed up. So again, expansion slots, on-off, button in the right-hand corner, CD-ROM player, 3.5-inch floppy drive. As long as we're here as well, while we move over, slide over just a tiny bit, and let's take a look at the back of your computer. And here, actually above quickly, we'll show again the speakers, which are an integral part of the multimedia again.
That comes with the package. Huh?
Speakers come with the package, that's correct. But here's the back of a PC. And this is really where all the connections are made from the PC itself to its various components, like the speakers plug into this, the monitor plugs into this. In fact, I'll show you, for starters, this is a power cable. And one of the nice things about working with the PC is if the connection doesn't match up, it's just not going to work. So you really have a foolproof way of really knowing, but here's your power cord, which obviously one end goes in the wall, the other end goes right into the back.
So you're saying if it fits in the right, if it fits in the plug, you got the right one. That's
Yep.
all there is to it.
If
Wow.
the shoe fits, wear it.
There you go.
How else to put that, as my mom used to say. Anyway, you can pull that right out there. So there's where your power source goes in. And also I have here a printer cable. We'll get into talking about printers here momentarily, but you'd be able to put your printer, this would be the printer cable running from the printer itself, and this goes right into that
Oh yeah.
spot right there, and all you do is you screw those down with these little screw here. So again, if we could focus in any closer here, any tighter, I'll be able to show you that again, this here, there's even a little representation of a printer here.
Oh yeah.
So it's really a foolproof way to hook it up. Not only do you have to have the right connection, but it shows you a picture of how to hook it up. It's really easy. You hook your printer in here. Up top here, this is what's called a serial port or serial connection. That's where you could hook up an external modem or a label printer, another, again, hardware device. And moving down here, you'll see, my apologies, moving down here, you'll see the serial ports. This one up top here shows a little representation of a computer screen, and this is where you hook in your monitor. So your monitor would feed, a cable would feed from the back of the PC out to the actual monitor. There's your connection between your display and the unit.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You probably see a couple other things here as well. This here is the keyboard connection. You see, again, a little representation of a keyboard there. And then below that is a representation of a mouse, and we'll talk a little more extensively about keyboard and mice in a minute, but this is where you hook in your keyboard, very straightforward. This is where you hook in your mouse. Moving along here, this is the modem. We talked about a modem before, and all the things that a modem can do for you. Well, to briefly show you, this is, again, that little connection, which is very familiar to you in your own house, and this simply connects, snaps right in there. There's your connection from the hardware, the modem, to your own phone lines. And that can simply be...
The other end of that goes to the phone jack?
That's correct. That's correct. One end in here, one end to your phone jack.
Well, can you use a phone at the same time?
You can. You can also use your phone. A lot of people do that. They'll have a phone hooked up to it as well, both times. So there's your modem connection, and just one other thing that you mentioned or that you see here, this is actually the sound card. And again, one of the components of multimedia systems is that it has the CD-ROM player, it has a sound card, and it has speakers. This is what the sound card looks like. And again, that's going to enable you to hear more than the blips and bleeps. You can hear a full speech, presidential speech, or that cheetah running, or whatever it may be. This gives you the full sound capability, the sound card.
So I can hook that up to my stereo?
You can hook that up to stereo. Actually, you could use the stereo speakers that you have at home. Perhaps they're even better than these. As good as these are, you may have better stereo speakers at home. Those can hook into this as well. Just a couple other things I want to cover on the back of the PC here. See these silver plates right here? Yes. These are covering up what's referred to as expansion slots. And again, as far as your ability to expand your computer and do more things with it. This is where you would put in another card or another adapter which would attach to the motherboard.
Oh, those are those black strips on the motherboard. That's where the card plugs into?
That's right. In fact, here, this is the, here's a motherboard.
Makes sense. Yeah.
These little black strips right here that you see, this is where you'd put another card. So this sound card plugs into one of these strips, and you can happen to see it out the back.
Oh, beautiful. All right.
Can you understand that?
Yeah.
And just a couple other points here. We'll move along. Again, this is where your power cord goes in. This is your fan. You have to have a power supply, obviously, to power the unit. And this is a fan which cools the system. Actually, this one has two fans. So this is a good overview of the back of a PC. Again, this is where all your connections take place. You don't even see any of these connections because, again, like this computer, all you see is the front and what you work with. But it's important to know how easy it is to hook everything up and get started using your computer.
So actually, even though it looks like a big complex maze of wiring, you just put the plug that matches the socket and plug it in, and that's it.
It's very straightforward.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than it first appeared.
Yes.
Wow.
You would be surprised.
Now, speaking of easier, why are there so many keys on the keyboard? I noticed that your keyboard right in the front here, you've got an awful lot of keys on it.
Yes, Larry, there are 4 different areas of a keyboard. And if you notice first this larger area here, which resembles a typewriter keypad. And that is exactly, it works the same.
Same way as a typewriter.
Exactly. The second section here is this center section, and that controls the cursor movement on the screen.
Okay, the cursor, that's the little pointer that moves around with the mouse or whatever you call
Right.
it. People see people referring to the mouse all the time, and they're moving that little arrow around. So that moves the arrow and all that.
Right,
Okay.
right. Then you have the numeric keypad over here on the far end,
Mm-hmm.
and people can use that if they're entering in a lot of numbers, doing accounting, that type of thing. They'll find it more convenient to use a numeric pad. And then this top row of keys is the function keys, and those you'd use for shortcuts in different programs.
Oh, I see. Very good, very good.
And there's 101 keys on a keyboard.
Wow.
I'm going to quiz you later. How many keys? 101.
101. Got it. Okay. Now that little thing next to the keyboard, that's your mouse?
That is the mouse, and it comes with your system. It is a 2-button mouse.
Oh, that comes with it too?
Yes.
Wow.
You have to have it. You
All
need
right.
you need a mouse.
Yes.
That's your pointing device.
Right.
That's right.
In any Windows program, you will have a cursor, which is an arrow that shows on the screen, and this mouse controls that arrow.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you can move, you are able to move it around and click on different files or applications.
You see that moving. In fact, mice come in a number of different shapes and sizes. This is one variety of mice. And it's something that's an absolute necessity and really enables you to engage certain programs, to click between different aspects of one particular program, whatever it may be.
Okay, well that's good. Well, do you have something like that for the little notebook too? The
That's a very
notepad?
good question. That's a great question. In fact, right behind me here, I'll bring it out for us. Here are, again, a couple of our more popular notebooks which we offer in the program. These are NEC Versa notebooks. This one, if you might see, here is their pointing device right here. This is called an eraser head. It's kind of a funny name for it, but it looks like the head of an eraser.
Oh yeah.
And what you would do with this is you simply would, if you, in fact you can see, move the cursor simply by moving the direction of your finger.
Oh, that's clever. Can I do it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's easy.
And
Wow.
how you would actually engage something is you would just go down here. We're going to play games, and you would just double click. See how I picked that? So the idea is to have your fingers on the keyboard, your finger directs the mouse, and then you pick it with your thumb.
Beautiful.
It's called the pick buttons and the mouse. So that's one example. The other example I have for you of popular types of pointing devices for notebooks is a integrated trackball. And here again is another notebook. And if you could look here on the outside, this is a little trackball that rolls around, and simply by moving that, the same situation occurs. You're able to move the cursor on the screen. So this is again an integrated trackball. And I've seen, these trackballs can be here. They can be situated on top of the keyboard here. There are a number of different places, but the idea is the same. It is your pointing device. It's integrated into the unit. You also can use an external mouse, though. I know you're going to ask me that next. You can put also an external mouse similar to the one that we used here if you're more comfortable with that
Oh, you got me.
On a-
So I can put my regular old mouse
on a notebook.
and plug it into the notebook. Oh.
And I want to show you one more thing as long as I'm here, and that is that like the back of your full-size desktop or mini tower computer that has all these ports on the back, as we explained, if you take a close look here, the notebook computer also has those same connections.
Oh, and they look identical, yeah.
Right, so again, here's where you could hook up, and you could hook up a full-size monitor off of a notebook, similar to the ones we have here. Here you could hook up a printer. Again, you were traveling, you wanted to print out a proposal to someone right then and there on the spot and really look slick. You could bring a little portable printer and hook it right up, and
Oh, for Pete's sake.
and then here also is where you hook up your mouse
Yeah.
or your keyboard. So very versatile machines, both the notebook and the full.
Well, Hugh, we've covered a lot of things, a lot of territory, and I've learned an awful lot about things so far. I see you've got several different monitors. Can you tell me a little bit about the monitors so I can help determine what kind of monitor I should get?
Sure, Larry. Absolutely, you will need a display or a monitor or a screen. They're called all three that can go with your system.
Before you do that, I'm going to put some music on.
All right, Miss Sandy's going to get some music going for us, so don't be too distracted now. This is
Okay.
important information.
There you go.
The first thing that I think you should understand is three very basic terms about monitors, and that is pixels, dot pitch, and resolution. And I'll briefly go into that. If you look behind me here,
Okay.
here is a 14-inch monitor, for instance. Here, this one here. Pixels are the very small circles that make up the display, that make up the screen. In fact, a television set has pixels, as well as a computer monitor has pixels, and they are the very small circles, are very minute, that make up the screen. Now, on a standard SVGA or a color monitor, you have 1,024 pixels running from left to right, and from top to bottom, 768. And that is where all the light is emitted from. That is where all the graphics are emitted from. That's where you see your picture, is through the light being emitted through these pixels or small circles that make up the screen. The dot pitch refers to the distance between the pixels. So if you keep in mind that the smaller the number, the closer those pixels are going to be to each other, closer together, and consequently the more resolute the picture is going to be. So that's the dot pitch again, and most monitors these days I would recommend getting nothing less than a monitor that has a 0.28 dot pitch, and that's 0.28 millimeters between a very small distance. And again, the resolution, the third term we talked about, refers to the 1024 by 768. You have that many pixels, 1024 across, 768 down. That's the kind of resolution you can expect from that.
So does that mean more dots? Is that a higher resolution and clearer picture? Is that what
Exactly. If you have more dots and they're close together, the more finer detail you're going to be able to make out on that image which is being emitted.
Beautiful, beautiful.
In fact, moving right along as we're on the same topic of resolution here, again, this is the 14-inch monitor. This is offered in the program. Then we move over to this one next to it here. This is an NEC Multisync XV15. This is a 15-inch monitor. Now, the differences between the 14 and 15, aside from the fact that the viewable area is larger, is that it is a flat screen display, which means that as opposed to a curved little curvature of the picture tube here, it is flatter, and consequently the images can go more right into the corners at right angles, so more viewable area. And this one will emit a resolution of 1280 by 1024, so you have quite a few more pixels or small circles there. Consequently, finer detail will be able to be made out, particularly if you're playing with particular games. Specific software takes up, certain software would better utilize this resolution, the higher resolutions. So this is the 15-inch monitor that we offer. And then over here is the 17-inch display. Now this is really for power users here. And it is, again, a 17-inch diagonal display. Also will do 1280 by 1024 resolution, but in larger detail. So whatever image it may be, you'll be able to see it in a larger scale than you did on the 15-inch.
So for that CAD, auto design, whatever, that would really be
Exactly. For architectural, computer-aided design, a 17-inch display like this. In fact, NEC makes the best monitors in the world. They always have. Any of these choices would be great choices. But that's kind of an overview of monitors.
Well, how many different colors can I see on the screen?
How many was that again?
256,000.
Did you hear that? Sandy knew that. 256,000 different colors can be emitted from. So you only hope you can, your eye can, I don't even think your eye can see that many colors actually, but.
I'm lucky to get black and white, so. That's great. That's great.
So that's kind of an overview of any monitor that strikes you is one that you might be interested in for yourself.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think the 14-inch would be just what I need.
Great. Again, if you'll notice on your order form, there's a specific segment there where you can actually pencil in. The monitors are broken on the second page, top of the second page, and you simply check that 14-inch display. I'm sure that would suit your needs just fine.
Okay, great. Oh yeah, I see it. Also, the different notebook computers. I've heard terms where they say, what is it, active and some other kind?
Active and passive matrix, right?
Yeah.
And that's
what does that mean?
I'll tell you, if we could just move over this way just a little bit, we have the two computer notebooks that we spoke about before. And the first one here is a passive and versus active. This is a passive matrix display. Now you can see that it's a little fainter, and I don't know how much you can discern on the video here, but the difference is in a passive matrix screen, half of those pixels or those small circles that make up the screen are filled with color, saturated with color. So you have somewhat of a, you still see color, which is certainly better than black and white, but you have somewhat of a diluted view. In fact, if you were to look, if you were looking at it square straight ahead, it looks very bright and very nice. But if you were sitting with someone next to you and they were looking at it from a side angle. In fact, I can see,
Oh, yeah.
see how when you start turning it, you start losing that resolution there? See how that kind of like
Yeah, it gets a little dimmer.
gets a little dimmer and darker? So most notebooks, almost all notebooks, will display a resolution of 640 pixels by 480. So the resolution as it is less than an external monitor, the ones we spoke about. But an active matrix display, which is right here next to it, and hopefully you can tell on your screen, is much more rich. It has a richer texture to the color because every one of those pixels is filled with color, not just half of them. So again, you turn this notebook to its side one way or another, and
Oh, it's just as clear.
it's just as clear as day either way you look at it. So generally speaking, the price of an active versus passive matrix color notebook might range from about $300 to $400 depending upon the model difference, and it all depends what you want to use it for. But there is a clear difference in the resolution and the impact of using a notebook with active versus passive color. There are certain notebooks on the market now, actually NEC, again, the only one who makes one, that does an 800 by 600 resolution screen. But that's kind of an overview of notebook screens.
Okay.
Did
That answers a lot of questions.
that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, it does. Now, when we get to printers, okay, I've heard a lot of different kinds of printers. Some of them are noisy, some of them are quiet. And
I'll tell you what, we're going to
laser
swing
and- well,
around
that's a-
here. Yes, there's
That's a whole new thing I need a little education on.
I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to, let me have that coffee if you don't mind. I could use a swig of that.
Okay.
All right, if we move around here, here are the 3 printers, actually, that we offer in the program. Each one will employ a different technology to get the job done. In other words, to print out a letter quality piece of correspondence, you need to have, there's 3 different technologies that are employed here to get that job done again. So briefly, let's take a look here first. This is a dot matrix printer. In fact, there is not Intel inside this, incidentally. And a dot matrix printer is the most inexpensive printer as far as cost. You're looking anywhere between $200 and $250 for a dot matrix printer. The advantages of it are that it is generally the best option for doing multi-part forms. So if you were doing something like a tax form, something that had an invoice, for instance, and you're running invoice, you need to have the striking power of the, what the technology here is the pins, like a typewriter, actually press against and provide some impact. A dot matrix is also called an impact printer.
So if you're using 2-part checks or W-2 forms or invoices, something like that, then that would be the way to go.
Right. The only detriment that I would bring to light about this printer or about dot matrix printers that people have expressed is that they're generally noisier because you hear the zzz, zzz, and as opposed to the other 2 models, which we'll talk about here briefly, it's noisier. This one does have a color option, so I want to bring that up. For a minimal cost, you can also get color out of this printer. However, that color is limited to only 8 additional colors. That is the dot matrix printer, and I believe Sandy will give you an overview of the one we
inkjet.
have in the middle, the inkjet.
Okay.
Yes, an inkjet printer like this Hewlett-Packard DeskJet that we offer in the program. It's a non-impact printer which forms images by spraying ink from a group of tiny jets.
Wow.
And it is also available with a color option. It does have enhanced resolution. The resolution is definitely better than the dot matrix, and it is quieter. And the price has come down on this type of printer, which has made it more attractive to people.
Now, how does that compare to a laser as far as the resolution goes? Is it pretty close?
That's a very good question, and I should say that as it is now, the most popular printer that we sell in the program that people are buying is the DeskJet 540. Because it kind of offers a little bit, it's just over $300, so the price differential between the dot matrix and the inkjet has come down a lot in recent months, and all things considered, it's generally the most popular choice. But moving along to the laser printer, we can move a little bit further down a ways here. We can see a laser printer, and the laser printer, although it's the most expensive printer of the 3, laser printers showcase the most sophisticated technology of them all. And what happens is, actually here's where you load your paper in that, and actually makes its way around and comes out the top. By actually fusing text and graphic images to the page through what is called electrostatic reproduction technology, electrically charged ink or toner binds to the paper, affording you the best resolution of print at the fastest speeds. So the laser printer is the fastest. The resolution is also better in a laser printer than an inkjet. And the price on this also has recently come down. This one's just over $400. So what you can get, these printers previously were $800 or more not too long ago. So technology marching on is definitely benefiting you, the consumer, as far as that goes.
Oh, geez.
Which one do you like?
So I think from what everything sounds, I do want to be able to go into color, and I think the DeskJet 540 would fit my ticket, because I don't need to do invoice printing or anything like that, but I do want to add color, and I would like it quiet and pretty fast. And that looks like a DeskJet would be a good way to go.
That's great. Why don't you go ahead and mark that in right on your order form there. That's under options there under printers on that last page, second page of the form, and you're well on your way to making a selection.
Well, this is exciting. I've got my computer picked out, I've got my monitor picked out, my printer. Now, software. I understand there's an awful lot of software available. What kind of software is available for me to get that I can use?
If you remember, the software is the actual programs that you use, and it still would round out your whole package. What most people use software for, the basic or the most widespread use, is for word processing, and there is a word processor that comes with this system. It's called Microsoft Works. The two most popular programs on the market are WordPerfect and Microsoft Word. When it comes to spreadsheeting, and you might want to get into that as well, you have Excel, Microsoft Excel, and Lotus. Those are really the two most predominant packages for both word processing and spreadsheeting on the market. This system comes with an outstanding software bundle, and we'll get into that in a minute, but just keep in mind that no matter what your interest is, there is a software program for you. There are literally thousands of CDs and software programs available for your specific interest, which is great, which really personalizes a computer to your what you want to do with it. So let's look back here.
So anytime if I find a new type of program, I can just go out and buy one anytime I want to, and
in addition to what we have here, you can load another software program on. So even though this comes with a lot, you can still add more to it. So let's take a look back here quickly.
This is
and I'm just briefly going to go over some of the software, all the software that comes with this package, the NEC Ready systems. Microsoft Works, which again is a combination spreadsheet, word processor, and database program. Also you have here, moving along, a Print Shop Deluxe. That is great if you have children or you want to do birthday cards, invitations, some type of entry-level desktop publishing. Fantastic program. That comes with it, works well with your kids. The sound impressions was something we showed before. We had the CD playing. It's almost it's a representation of your CD console. Moving further along here, we have Microsoft Encarta, which is the encyclopedia program on CD that we showed some clips of, the cheetah, the speeches, the baseball from the outset. Quicken is an outstanding program. That is actually a home checkbook accounting program where you can keep track of your finances. Sandy was saying that she can actually do her bills through that program.
I've heard that's really wild.
Moving along here quickly to some of the communication packages we talked about you could use with your modem again. America Online, CompuServe, Prodigy, the most popular programs, access that world of information. This system has all three of them in conjunction with a separate package called Netcom NetCruiser, which is a specific internet package. We talked about the internet and the international community. You can hook up with that. And further along here, you see we have Microsoft Bob, and what I'm going to do is this is an extremely user-friendly system. Software,
my gosh,
and what I did was I just popped up Microsoft Bob, and to show you how easy they've made computers these days, if you take a look at the screen, you have a representation of practically anything you'd want to do here. Here up on top is a clock, and there's the actual time of day we're at.
That's really the time of day now.
That's really the time that we have. Here's a calendar. If you were to click on this calendar, you would have your own personalized calendar pop up. Similarly, here is a financial manager. See that dollar sign? Here's a checkbook. There's a little pen and checkbook, same situation. There's a letter writer.
So you mean if you click on one of those pictures, it actually calls up the program?
Calls up the program.
Oh, wow.
Makes it that easy. Here's a little Rolodex in the corner here where you can keep names, addresses. So this is, again, one example of how easy they're making computers. Computers are for everybody, and it's something that you really can grow with and go with. So that's the software package that comes with your system.
And they're all preloaded.
That means it comes already installed on the system?
Preloaded means that when you turn on your computer and you set it up, this is exactly the menu you will see, and you just simply go ahead and click and get started.
Ready to use.
Ready to use.
Geez, this is unbelievable. I can't wait. Well, Hugh, I know you can buy computers anywhere nowadays. You see them all over the place. I can see them in discount stores and these big price clubs, and you can buy a mail order. Well, why would I buy it through the employee purchase program?
Well, you definitely hit on generally the three different choices that you have these days. You can buy through, again, mail order, a mass merchant, what I call stack 'em high, sell 'em low, or an authorized dealer for the product. There are definitely distinct advantages and disadvantages of each, which you should strongly consider, particularly if you are a new user or a new, just getting into computing. I do not advise on buying a computer mail order, and the reason being is, generally speaking, you don't have this type of face-to-face interaction. You don't really, it's not an authorized, sanctioned program similar to this that the Tyco, the corporation, puts their stamp of approval on, and it's a very risky situation. A lot of times you will have delivery charges tacked on to the cost of the system which you're unaware of, or you may have no recourse as far as answering basic questions about how to use your computer. So I would rule out mail order on that aspect, even though they might be less money, which you make up for as far as time and frustration factor, especially if you're a new user, is certainly worth the monetary value. Moving along to the next choice that you have, which is a mass merchant. Again, I call them stack 'em high, sell 'em low. Generally speaking, they are convenient in the sense that they're right down the road from you. But are they in fact authorized dealers that represent the product well, that know the product well? I mean, they also sell toasters, refrigerators, and everything else under the sun. As much as they may present an image of knowing their product, generally speaking, you need to have a level of comfortability that you can have questions answered about how am I going to utilize this PC in my own life as far as what I'm doing. And generally speaking, those situations, that does not happen. Those outfits also typically sell a very wide range of computers, from ones that are inferior in their components. All computers are not alike. It's a very important, something very important to consider. There are very different levels of quality control that go into, say, a Packard Bell computer that you might see at one of those stores compared to an NEC or an IBM. It's very important, the overall quality aspect of it. So that's the other option that you will consider. We would think the best option for you, and I believe the best option for you and anybody, especially if you're a beginner, even if you're not a beginner, is to buy through an authorized dealer, someone who actually represents the product. They have replacement parts on hand. Their technicians have to take tests on knowing how to use the computers. Computers is their specialty. They don't sell toasters, everything else. And particularly in light of this authorized program, you have a very high level of recourse or accountability, that you have an intermediary between you and the manufacturer to help you. So you have both us, who have guided you through the selection process, and also NEC, the manufacturer, Toshiba, whoever it may be, who are the manufacturers of the products themselves. So I have very strong convictions about that, because I've seen a lot of people who have bought elsewhere. Usually the people who buy elsewhere and make mistakes, the second time around know a lot better. So
yeah, I think along what you're saying, I've got a friend that bought a computer at one of these places, and they just were doing something wrong and didn't know it, and all they did was tell them to bring the computer back and they'll give them another one. And they got the other one and they still had the same problem.
Could have been a very simple solution that one phone call to us could have answered, and you're off and you're going instead of packing up the whole system. So it's something that people will learn, but there's no question. I mean, this program is a fantastic program set up for you with the financing and the quality systems that we offer. We could have offered lesser systems that were more inexpensive, but better to have a quality system that's supported for the long run, and that's what we're in for here.
Well, I've got a face and a name. I can say, hey, Hugh, what do I do, so-and-so? Or, hey, Sandy, can you tell me about so-and-so? And I think that's great. That's important. Well, how do I become part of this program? How do I get actually into the program?
Well, you've already done the lion's share of it. Basically, you would take the employee computer purchase order, PC fax order form that you have already started filling out. I think we're almost done with filling it out. You sign it, and you submit that paper work to your local computer purchase coordinator. There's a computer purchase coordinator at every branch. And along with those other two short forms we spoke about, and a 10% down deposit, we're off and running.
So I do want to get it. So how long will it take if I do get it? I mean, when I get it, let me put it that way. How long will it take to actually get it when I submit my paperwork?
Well, after your computer purchase coordinator receives all the paperwork, and we receive payment. After we receive payment, it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks, no longer than, to receive your computer.
Oh,
and it just is pending on the approval of the corporate office, just to make sure they have all the proper paperwork they need for the payroll deduction.
And it's on the way.
And it's on the way.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and fill out the name and address at the top, and I'll give this to Brenda on the way out. And then just come home and tell my wife about it and say it's on the way. This is great. I am thrilled to death.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Larry.
Wait.
Thank you for coming and helping us out with the video today.
You're a big help, and God, I'm excited. This is great. Thanks a million. So I'll let you go back to what you were doing, and sorry for the interruption.
Great meeting you. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, bye-bye now.
The goal of this short videotape has been to provide you with the basic information you need to know to make an informed decision. We hope we've managed to answer a few of your basic questions and helped you make the right choice on which PC is best for you and your family.
Look for other short instructional videotapes, including word processing, the internet, multimedia, and more. To find out more about how you can purchase a new PC package through payroll deduction, look for this informative poster and contact your computer purchase coordinator at your location for a brochure.
The CPC will have all the paperwork you need to get your order going, along with any up-to-date information on any special promotions we at NECB may have going on. As always, we welcome your questions or comments. Call Sandy or myself personally at 1-800-745-6322, and we'll help you every step of the way to select a computer package which is just right for you and your family. If you're interested in the Apple and Macintosh computers, there also are brochures available through your computer purchase coordinator through Coastal Computers. Remember, the computer age is here to stay.
Plan ahead and get ready for tomorrow. Give your children that competitive edge at school.
Take advantage of this great opportunity now.